Hello everyone and welcome back to Ask Mar and the Guides. This is episode 2 and I'm excited to answer some community questions. If you have any questions that you want to ask me and my guides, please submit it in the form below. I included it in the description section. If you have any question for me or for my guides, we'll be happy to answer it in the order that it was received. So today we're going to answer 5 questions, and they're a little bit lengthy because in the question there were many layers, so we're going to try to get through as many layers as possible. So let's get started and welcome back. So the first question comes from Protection Plan, and Protection Plan says, how can I better protect my energy around people who don't necessarily want the best for me? And in parentheses, they added, if I have to interact with them. So how can I protect my energy around people who don't want the best for me if I have to be around them? All right. So the first thing that came through Protection Plan is we invite you to ask yourself, what do you believe that you have to? We invite you to question your beliefs and the way that you give your power away, perhaps unintentionally. So do you believe that you have to do something? Because in a free will world, there's no such thing as have to. So I invite you to take in this perspective and just sit with it in a little bit. There is a version of you that wants to interact with these people who you perceive as not having your best interest in mind, so that your current version of you can learn a specific lesson. So if you believe that you have to do something, I would question the belief, because again, we live in a free will world and you actually don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. So that's from one perspective. Now, I want you to ask yourself, do you want the best for you? You're saying that they don't want the best for you, but do you want the best for you? If so, then what does that look like? Does the best for you look like continuously interacting with these people? Does it look like you setting stronger boundaries? Does it look like you speaking up? Does it look like, what does the best for you looks like regardless of them and what they're doing? Okay? So do you want what's best for you? Then why do you keep accepting treatment that isn't aligned with what's best for you, what you believe is best for you? So you protect your energy by simply not giving it away. Perhaps you can look at these people as teachers. They are helping you to set better boundaries. As annoying as they may be, they might be helping you to move in a new direction. They might be pushing you to leave a job or leave a relationship or leave a situation that is really not good for you and for your mental health, for your physical health, or whatnot. So can you maybe find the lesson in this experience so that you can learn the lesson? Because there's most definitely a lesson here, and you're invited to learn the lesson as fast as you can so that you can move on. Because if someone doesn't want the best for you, that's on them. You need to do what's best for you. Instead of being outwardly focused on them, you just turn it back on you. Because that's how you strengthen your energy field, right? So take action towards what's best for you, what you think is best for you. So whether these characters are teaching you to set the boundaries or speak up or stand up for yourself, then thank them for the lesson. Do what you gotta do. Stand up for yourself, set boundaries, and keep it moving because there are more lessons coming up. And if you are done learning this lesson, know that you can simply say no and walk away, or you can simply just walk away. If you are not done learning this lesson, you feel like you can't or you have to talk to them or you can't just walk away and all of that, then turn your energy, focus your energy on the lesson that you're trying to take out of this so that you can move on to the next lesson as soon as possible. So that is our answer protection plan. I hope that this was helpful. Know that you are powerful and you can walk away from anything you don't want to, no matter what is going on in your head and no matter what you think is outside of you. You are capable of deciding, learning a lesson, and moving to the next step. So thank you again for asking your question, and I hope this is helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. The next question comes from looking for answers and guidance. The question is, guides, is it time for me to live on my own? And so for this question, looking for guidance, let's try this. Why don't you close your eyes? And I added a little soundtrack to help you. So close your eyes right now. Take a deep breath. Release through the mouth. Take a couple more deep breaths. And now just picture yourself living on your own. So allow whatever vision or feeling to come through right now. Just see yourself living on your own, having your own space. Can you see it? Can you feel what it feels like to be living on your own? Does it come easily? Just notice what's coming up around that in your body and in your mind. How does it feel when you ask the question of living on your own, or when you visualize living on your own? Just notice. Okay, good. Now, keep your eyes closed and picture the space that you're living in now. Where you are now. How does that feel? Can you see yourself being in this space next year or in 6 months? How does it feel to stay in this space for a little bit longer? And just notice whatever comes up. The guides want to empower you to choose what's best for you, and especially what feels good to you. So with these two short visualizations, tune into what was the most exciting option. Did one option come easier in your visualization? Was one hard to access? These are all questions you can ask. if the first option of living on your own felt exciting, felt even scary, sometimes that fear is really telling you that there's a big shift happening here. So we don't want to like believe the fear, we want to move towards it and past it. And what did it feel like when you tuned into where you are now and staying in that place? If you notice any guilt or shame coming up around moving out or around going on your own or whatever it is, guilt and shame or even lack coming up, work on clearing those. So it's less about do I need to move out or stay, more let me just get rid of this guilt and shame and heal it and clear it, so that when I do move out, I don't have to drag it with me to the next place. I can clear the energy that my current space is giving me a chance to clear. So those are the three things that came through, was guilt, shame, and lack. If any of those are coming up, work on clearing those and set an intention to be shown signs whether you should move out or not. Okay? The guides are saying, we will take care of you regardless if you stay or move or whatever you do. It doesn't matter. It is your choice. So the last thing I want to leave you with is a question I want you to journal on. Ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I was supported? What choice would you make if you know that you will be taken care of fully? Allow yourself to dream big. Bigger than ever. And if in that answer, the idea of living on your own is prominent, then you owe it to yourself to pursue your bliss. So looking for answers and guidance, thank you for asking your question. I hope that this provided you with enough guidance to move into the next step. Thank you again, and I hope this was helpful. The next question is from Root Rock. And yes, I decided to keep the music because it's relaxing. So the question is, I struggle with anxiety, PTSD, and from what I've read, my root chakra may be blocked or unbalanced. Any beginner steps to balance chakras? I've heard that doing this can help ascend from an empath to someone with better boundaries. So thank you, Root Rock, for your question. So your question has multiple questions within it. So the first thing I see is anxiety, and then root chakra imbalance, how to balance your chakras, and how to ascend from an empath to an empowered empath to someone with better boundaries. So there is a lot here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to every single point, but here's what came out in the answer. So the first thing about anxiety and PTSD, this is about healing old wounds and past traumas. Anxiety comes, and again, I'm saying this with, I am an energy healer, not a mental health professional. So take what I say with a grain of salt and take what resonates with you. So you're not in front of me here, so I can't see you, but hopefully you can find some nuggets of wisdom in these answers. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So with anxiety and PTSD, this is about healing your past traumas and allowing yourself to fully feel them and process them. Anxiety comes from either living in the past or living in the future. So the antidote to that is coming back to the now and feeling safe in the now. So if you feel unsafe in your body, in the now, where you are right now, then that could definitely cause anxiety, and it can cause root chakra imbalance. Because when it comes to the root, it's all about feeling safe, feeling secure, and feeling like you belong. So you wanna ask yourself, where do you not feel safe to be here on earth? And now going to the empath question, being an empath can or identifying as an empath can definitely lead to some energy leaks or having a lack of boundaries, because the thoughts and the belief around being an empath is that you are a sponge and you are just you feel all the things, whether they're yours or not. And so if you are taking on somebody's energy who is not feeling safe in their body and feeling safe on earth, then you might feel unsafe and think that's yours. So this is when things get really tricky if you don't have better boundaries. So my recommendation is to start with the boundaries. Start with first clearing out what's not yours, getting to know what is actually yours, so that you can process and heal and transmute your own feelings and not that of others, because you're actually not helping them by transmuting their stuff, right? So being an empath can signify a lack of boundaries and not knowing who you truly are. And this has to do with the solar plexus chakra. So if you have an imbalance in the root, it can very much affect your other energy centers or your chakras. So when it comes to boundaries and being an empath, you want to work on your solar plexus chakra by calling your power back, by being in your power, by stating your boundaries, by saying no more often. And there's so many ways, so many things you can do. So while there are many ways to clear and balance your energy centers, what's coming up for you from my guides, what they're saying is to remember who you are. At some point, you forgot who you are. You thought you were things that are actually not empowering to you, and they're not helping you in your journey. And you've come to this place where you have so much anxiety that you cannot not even look at it. So you are forced to look at that anxiety and heal it. So it's good. It's a good thing that you're going through this. Not that it's fun or exciting. It's just going to lead you closer to who you are. Because the message for you is to remember who you are. Because if you're walking around carrying a lot of other people's stuff, then you will feel imbalanced. Not because you are imbalanced, because you're taking on energies that are not a match to your own authentic energy, which then creates the imbalance, right? You are not imbalanced. You are perfect. You are divine, but you don't know that yet. You don't remember that yet. You haven't cleared and questioned all these thoughts that are coming up, or that are making you anxious, that may not be yours to begin with, because you have poor boundaries. So your question is actually one thing bleeds into another, and all of those things are important, are very important. The best practice for your root chakra, since you asked me about that and you signed it root rock, the best practice that I know for clearing and balancing the root chakra is to ground yourself. Ground back to earth and earthing, walking on earth barefoot, connecting to nature, taking nature walks, really tuning in to earth. Because the most issues with the root is a feeling of not belonging, and so you want to create this grounding cord between you and the earth, so that you can feel stable here, and also so you can create a reference point for what it feels like to be grounded and not anxious. Because like I say, if you're not in your head, if you're in your body, you're not in your head. That's what it is. So if you're anxious, get into the body. Because if you're in your body, your mind is going to calm down. If you're in your feeling your body, you're in your body, as in breathing, like working out, then your mind tends to calm down. So you want to get as grounded and in your body as you can by bringing yourself to the present moment, reminding yourself of who you are, where you are, using affirmations, whatever you need to do, and that's going to help you feel more grounded. So there are many ways to clear and balance your energy centers or your chakras. There's so many ways, and these are easily Googleable. You can absolutely Google it. But ultimately, you are unique, and you may have to try a couple of things before you find your thing. We cannot tell you what your thing is, but we can tell you that this is a practice of remembering who you are. So do whatever you need to do to tap into that and to remember who you are, and therefore follow your bliss. I feel like this whole episode is about following your bliss. So I'm going to tell that to you. Follow your bliss. Ground yourself and remember who you are. Well, thank you, Root Rock, for asking the question. I hope that this was helpful, and I wish you the best on what's to come and in the process of remembering who you are. All right, so the next question comes from Pisces with Pisces rising. Yes, double water like me. So the question is, I've done my vision boards, I've cleared the decks, so there's space for all the goodness to come into my life. How can I find balance between trusting the universe and doing things to make it happen? So how can I find the balance between trusting the universe and doing things to make it happen? All right, Pisces with Pisces rising. So here's what's coming up for you. If you really trusted the universe, you wouldn't be doing anything to make anything happen. So we do not recommend trying to find balance between trusting and forcing things to happen. Those two energies are not a match, and they kind of cancel each other out. So what we recommend is to surrender completely. Like you said, you've done your vision boards, you've cleared the space, you are waiting for the goodness to happen. We recommend that you completely surrender and ask for a sign and wait. Wait until you feel the impulse to take action. So it's not about making anything happen. Making anything happen means you need to step out of your surrendered zone, of your flow zone, and go outside of yourself to create a specific outcome. That is control. You want to stay in your flow and allow whatever wants to be created through you to come through you. So you have to wait for the impulse to take action. Now, what blocks that impulse and that intuition is waiting for a very specific thing to happen. So you have like an idea of what you want. Like, I want this material thing. So the guides are saying, don't focus so much on the material. Focus on how you want to feel. Your vision boards are cool, but they are focused on the material. So for me, I would recommend you do like a feelings board. How do you want to feel? And then follow that. Follow that bliss. If you wake up one day and you're like, I'm just feeling called to call this friend and ask them for dinner, or like go to the museum, like that's what you follow. That's what's gonna take you. That's the journey to make that thing happen, right? It's not about you trying to make it happen. It's about you following that creative impulse and learning to find the flow in your life. So what's coming up for you, Pisces with Pisces rising, you are learning to really flow with life instead of, and really what you're deprogramming is that hustle mode. So that balance that you mentioned in the beginning is really like two different Personalities are fighting each other, so you must choose the one of least resistance. And to me, that is surrender. So first, what the guides are saying is bask in what you have now. Bask in all the things that you already made happen. You are here. 6 months ago, you wished you were here. Now you are here. So are you taking the time to bask and love where you are? So you want to do that. And then you want to relax and trust. Ask for a sign and wait until that excitement, that joy, that flow comes and takes you there. All right? Let's see what else. So control isn't the answer. If you're trying to make anything happen, you are forcing, or you are prematurely trying to make something happen that you are not ready for. So you have to trust. If you trust in your universe, you trust that every single thing that happened to you or that is actually happening for you and to take you to the next step. So things are happening already. It's not that they're not happening, but you are fixated on a very specific physical thing, and that is control, and we do not recommend controlling your way through life, because you have manifestation power and you have sensitivity power, and you can absolutely use that to guide you through the darkness into the light, into what you want. Okay, so go with the flow, be grateful, and that's going to get you somewhere that is beyond what you can actually imagine, because where you're heading is something you cannot come up with from your head. So why even try? So thank you, Pisces, with Pisces rising. Thank you for asking your question. We hope that this is helpful, and thank you again. The next question comes from Capricorn in California. And the question is, how am I supposed to know if I'm on the right path in career and love? How am I supposed to feel? I feel like I have many options and don't want to choose the wrong path. All right, Capricorn in California. So first of all, you are on the right path. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. The path that you find yourself is the right one. As simple as that. There's no such thing as the wrong path, because all paths will lead to what you need in that moment to get you to a higher place. Okay? So you are in the exact path that you need to learn the lessons that are going to serve you in the next version of the now. So the reason why you might be confused are two things. One, there are many opinions and distractions in your field surrounding you. You allowing too many opinions and distractions. You taking on too much of what people think, which then confuses your intuitive compass, and now your intuition isn't clear about where to go. You feel like you're not sure where to go, and it's because the blueprints that you have uploaded to your field are not yours. You might be looking at someone and deciding, I want that, like couple goals. Is it really couple goals? Like for you? You might be trying to manifest things that are not for you. But what I want to ask you to do is notice who you idolize or worship, because this is dangerous. You want to ask yourself, am I following my bliss? Again, with following the bliss, am I following my own blueprint? What makes me feel good in every moment? Or am I following what other people think is best for me? This could be society. This could be a friend. This could be a celebrity that you idolize too much. This could be a parent that wants a specific thing for you, that wants you to become a doctor or something, whatnot. All of those things will lead to confusion, for sure. So this is the time to reconnect to your intuition and to your bliss. And that may look completely different than where you are now. It may look completely different than anything that you're being taught. But when you follow it, when you follow that North Star, you will never question whether you are in the right path. Although you may question whether you're on the right path, but you'll also know that you are. Okay? So the second thing is overthinking. I sense that there is a tendency to maintain an image or try to match someone else you idolize. So by taking in everyone's opinion, everyone's way of being, you're trying to fit yourself into their mold when you actually have to create your own mold. So part of this is tuning out outside opinion, tuning out what people do or think, and tuning inward. Setting boundaries around yourself so you only do what feels good for you. You ask in every moment, does this feel good? Does this not feel good? And then make a decision. Okay? Your spirit wants you to follow your bliss. The guides are really saying follow your bliss for every single one of these questions here, because you were overthinking too much about this. Okay? So if you have a job that is not fulfilling, you can leave it. If your parents might think it's wrong, right? Like I said earlier, but this isn't about them. This isn't their life. This is yours. So the fear of that you mentioned, I have many options, but don't want to choose the wrong path, is just fear. That's just fear of being yourself, of doing your thing, or of innovating, of choosing a path that your family has never chosen, or you don't actually have a blueprint for. Maybe your path is something that you can create as you go, that is nobody that you know has done it yet. So by watching what other people are doing is actually getting you more confused than just kind of trusting that whatever you're doing, as long as you follow your bliss, is the right path. I hope that landed well. I hope that makes sense. So remember that you are always on the right path. And in every moment, you get to choose to stay or leave that specific path. If you follow your bliss, your joy, your peace, you won't be doubting yourself. Trust me. Tune out everyone's opinion. Know that your path is unique to you. And you get to decide if you're done with this path and move on. And you get to change it at any point. And if you feel like there's too many options, then it's time to cancel the options and innovate from within. So Capricorn in California, thank you again for asking your question, and I hope that this was helpful. So thank you everyone for tuning in to episode 2. I hope that this was helpful, that it brought some clarity into your life. If I answered your question, please let me know in the comments. You can email me how it sat with you and if it brought anything up for you. I do want to say that the common thread in all of these questions that the main message that came for not just people who I answered their question, but for everyone listening right now, is to follow your bliss. Know that sometimes we humans make things a lot complicated than it actually is. So the simple thing to do is to follow your joy, follow your bliss in every moment and see where that takes you. You may not be in control of the outcome. You may not be in control of anything. But trust me when I say that if you follow your bliss, you will go places you never thought were possible that will blow your mind and make you happier, more joyful, more peaceful than you could possibly come up with from your mind. So thank you again for tuning in. If you want to book a session with me one-on-one and talk to your guides further, please go to icuwellness.com and book a session, whether a reading or a healing session. I'm an energy worker, energy practitioner, and I work with different guides and different beings to help shift and clear and cleanse energy fields. I work with energy all day long. So if you feel called to book a session with me, please do so at icuwellness.com. I am now booking for March. And otherwise, if you're local to New York, welcome to the studio anytime. We have monthly sound bath cleanse sessions and with Reiki. I'm getting ready to offer some more offerings. So stay tuned, and thank you all so much for your support. And thank you for tuning in to episode 2. Yay! If you have any questions, please submit them in the form in the description section. Thank you all again. I love you, and I will see you in episode 3.